Good morning, everybody. What's up? It is Cowboy. It is 8:30 a.m. EST. We are live. We're live on X. We're live on YouTube. We're live everywhere. And as soon as Rumble can get its streaming software working properly, we're going to go live there too. Just haven't been handling that yet. So we'll see how that goes. I have not tested the Rumble live streamer since we tried it a week ago. And it was like good one day and then didn't work the next day. But we're also live on X. We're just pretty much live. So right now, let me go ahead and take a look at the screen here. Trying to kind of get the link out there, but there we go. All right. Trying to get a few people to file in, get the link shared. Let's see how many people we got watching. We got a couple people watching. We're going to hold off just a little bit. We want people to file in. For those of you who are kind of watching this after the fact, watching the recorded version of this. And the screen you're looking at there is Bitcoin. All right, so we're going to zoom that in. We're going to take a better look at Bitcoin. But just so you know, we called this move upwards. This move up past, 49,000, this was very expected. I believe the way I put it was that even though price might want to reject at 48.5-ish, the algos don't see that happening. The algos do not call for a move down. And remember the rule, especially when it comes to the Kingfisher, my rule anyway, is that if the charts and the algos don't call for a move down, then I don't look for a short. It's as simple as that. Let me turn this music down just a hair. And let me get this link out there. Live. Oops. Okay, got one link out. And we got, let's see here. And this, the Rogue Discord is just kind of bugging. We're going to move away from the Rogue Discord. And I don't know what we're moving to. Actually, I do kind of know what we're moving to, but yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it. But we are going to move to a different platform, that's for sure. Okay, we got a few more people watching. I'll go ahead and start with all the trading. So the Gorilla should be in. I know he has had some personal items he's taking care of lately, so he may or may not be able to make it right on time. Yeah, Cool Cat said it right there. Morning, poured another one out for my homie shorting. Yeah, that's, if you're shorting right now, you're in pain. And this is something that I say quite often, on these shows, is that I do not like to short Bitcoin, especially when it's at a resistance, which, I will, depending on, if the algos say I can. But I tend to short less often than I go long, especially in this time of the year. Now, shorting Bitcoin is a great thing to do in certain times. Probably I'm guessing, anywhere from mid 2025, early 2025 to 2026, shorting Bitcoin is going to be probably pretty profitable. If you can have access to shorting Bitcoin, that's going to be the trick, right? And that's a whole different conversation. But let me go ahead and zoom in here and give everybody a better view of what's happening with this chart. So we're looking at Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was in this long consolidation. Finally, the breakout is real. We had the ETF move, the fake out breakout right here. And this was back in early to mid-January. So we had everybody freak out. They thought the ETF was going to push price to the moon, and it may well do that. But like the Cowboy, like I said, this is probably going to be a sell the news event. And surely enough, that is what happened. Whenever something is obvious, whenever a lot of money is going to obviously go into something, you'll oftentimes see price do the exact opposite of what's going on. It's when things are a little bit less obvious, there may not be an event attached or whatever it might be, when that price might go ahead and go against. And that's going to be reflected in a lot of different places. Among them is going to be reflected in the Kingfisher, which is a, we're going to take a look at that today. And I think with the Kingfisher, the ability to use it for free might be gone. I might have to actually pay, which I've paid. I have no problem paying the Kingfisher. It's great program. Let's make sure that I told everybody. Okay. Oh yeah. Euro trade. is live. All right, so just telling the private group, my euro trade. I had a euro EUR/USD trade that I was looking at just for the private group to see, and I went ahead and I took that trade live. I got in early on the move, and then I went ahead and took it live. The larger trade is now live. And so the private group can see what that's about. Now, of course, when I put my trades up there, I put them in. I usually will give warnings, say, hey, I'm probably going to, I'm probably going to take this trade, right? And that way people can kind of get ready. Although here's the thing about it, I'm not putting the trades out there as like a signal per se. I'm not necessarily saying, hey, take this trade. That's not what our service is about. But I do put my trades up there like, hey, I'm going to short Bitcoin here. I'm going to long Bitcoin here, whatever the case is. If I can kind of say, hey, this trade's setting up, I'm interested in taking this, I will say it ahead of time, but you all have to do your own research if you're going to take a trade, even if it looks like mine. Yeah, absolutely cool, Cat. The last we checked on Bookmap, it wasn't, see, Kingfisher is, that uses actual liquidity data from exchanges, right? As far as I know, Bookmap is just a heat map. It's just using past transactions. It's kind of like, Bookmap, as far as I'm concerned, unless Bookmap is not what I understand it to be, and I may be wrong about this, we might have to look into it, but last I checked, Bookmap is just a heat map. It's just using some data that's not actual liquidity data from exchanges, right? Liquidity, pure liquidity, that's going to be based on liquidations. That's going to be based on the leveraged exchanges where the trades are going to liquidate, right? That's liquidations. Now there is other liquidity out there. Let's just say, where the orders are, somebody has like a limit order here, a limit order there. That's also liquidity. And I don't think that is available on Kingfisher. I don't know if Bookmap carries that or not, but as far as I know, Bookmap is just, looking at prior transactions, which is basically volume nodes, which is something you can use with fixed range. So, but I could be mistaken about that. Like, I don't want to say that's how it is and be wrong. So, if you can, I don't know, if you're pushing Bookmap, you think it's really good, then, we can look into it and figure that out. Let me actually take a look at the Kingfisher, because I do want to see where the liquidity is. Give me a second. Let me actually F11 out of this, bring this down. Okay, now I've fouled myself up here. See, too many windows open, sir. Too many windows, sir. Okay, so let's do. Okay, there is not what I'm interested in. There we go. All right, sorry about that, folks. Little Windows glitch there. Okay, so let's make this full screen yet again. Okay, so the Kingfisher here looks like I got one liquidation yet. Yeah, and it looks like the spinning wheel where you can win credits, that's gone. I don't know if it's coming back. So it might be Kingfisher no longer gives away their stuff at all. But here is a liquidation map, and the liquidity to the top side. Like right now, there is some pretty strong liquidity to the downside. There's a lot sitting at about 43,500, a lot, and all the way down to 42,500. So that's a strong block of liquidity, and that's been there for days now. Also, there's a strong bit here at 47.3 and at 48.2. So, we may want to mark those out. 47.3. I'm going to actually mark those out with just a line here. We'll make it a yellow line. And we're going to stretch this a bit. So we got 47.3, which would make a lot of sense based on what I'm seeing on the chart. 48.2. All right. And let's code these yellow here so we know that they are liquidity. Okay. So now the thing is that as far as I can tell right now, the charts just favor a move up. So even though there's a lot of liquidity down here, I'm not expecting price to go down there right now. I did a video yesterday saying the bulls are back. The gorilla's been telling us this is happening. I see nothing but bullishness on the chart right now. Like, I don't see any bearishness. Now, it's not to say that the market makers can't come in and slam it down. That the market makers in the end can and will slam it down, right? So we're not saying it can't go down, but right now it does not look like it will go down. The algos do not say it's going to go down. And every time I say that, price generally continues to go up, right? There are times when that's not true, but I can't think of any. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm always right, but the algos are pretty effective. And Rikuku, by the way, thanks for the recommendation on that. So we already have an idea of where we're gonna go. I just don't want to, I don't want to talk about it yet. So long story short, though, upside liquidity right now, which is where price will go, there's not really anything pronounced. So, I mean, there's a little bit at like 53, there's a little bit at 54.6 and 15.6. And I mean, there's some liquidity up there, but I'm more looking at levels from old price action. I'm looking at fib extensions. I'm looking at stuff like that. Now, 5,300 is important, and we'll get into that. Okay, so Coolcat has a question here. Oh, I don't know. I mean, look, so Coolcat's asking about supply shock, and what that means is that the ETFs are buying a bunch of Bitcoin to go into it. But, the ETFs have only bought like, I don't know, 500,000 Bitcoin or something. So I mean, there are 21 million, billion, is it billion? So, we're not, it's million, 21 million Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, what is that, 5%? Not even? Is that like 2%? So, look, I think there's something like 70 some odd percent of people who have Bitcoin still haven't sold it. So there's a bunch of Bitcoin that's out there. So you can take that, circulating supply is more like 25%. So that's going to be something like 5 billion out there that's circulating, really, and then of course, who knows, I'm sure a lot of that's even locked up. So, okay, now let's just say we're down to 15%. I'm just going to pull a number out of the air. All right. So I really don't know the number, but you got 15% of the Bitcoin out there are actually like circulating, being traded, being back and forth. Right. So if that's the case, 15% of 1 million is going to be 3 million or so. So you got 3 million Bitcoin going around. Yeah, that's a significant supply shock. If you think about it, if they purchased 500,000, and I'm just pulling that number out of the head too. See, you're asking questions where I really need to quantify, but let's just say that 3 million are truly circulating, and then you have let's see, what is 3 million? Like 500,000 of that is going to be 1/6, right? Again, this is kind of super rough estimation. So 1/6 of it is being held. So you're still looking at 6 goes into 100, 15 times. So, I mean, it's a significant amount. It's enough to cause a supply issue, certainly, but I don't know that it's enough to change the price action. I think that the other problem is that a lot of the money going in that would normally go into Bitcoin could be filling over to the ETFs. But in order to really answer that question, I'd have to know the numbers. I need to know how much is being traded versus how much was being traded before. I need to know the true circulating supply. I need to know how much money that's going into ETFs would have gone into Bitcoin. I need to know, and that's another way to look at that is how much were Bitcoin inflows before ETF and after ETF. That's just a lot of data. And look, I have the soul of a quant, right? But at the same time, it just doesn't fucking matter to me, bro. Like, I'm just looking at the charts, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got time for all that calculation, bro. So yeah, I do have the soul of a quant. I am that guy, but I find that my time is better spent just looking at the charts because the charts tell all. And I think the charts are going to tell us that 53,000 is a telling number, right? And again, those of you who are in the private lab understand what that means. But what I will say is that as price hits $53,000, right, we're going to have an idea whether it rejects off that or whether it continues up. And my algos are pretty accurate in knowing whether or not it's going to continue up. So I'd say if there were to be a pullback in this area, or if there was to be a pullback, I don't know. If there was to be a pullback, whatever the proper English is on that, I might look to grab some on the way up. But I wouldn't buy this without a pullback though. Like, this is pure FOMO. Now we do have a formula for FOMO in the private live lab. So you all who are watching us in the private live lab, how I trade FOMO if I'm going to trade FOMO, which I rarely ever do. I'm a little bit hard on people who like, hey, can I look at this coin? And it's just like FOMO. And I'm like, dude, it's FOMO. Like, I'm a little hard on people. I probably should be nicer. But the reality is that I do have a formula for that. I do have a FOMO formula. Like, it's not untradeable. It's just that, my nature, my actual personal nature is such that I go against the crowd. It's how I roll, like in my life, not just in, not just like in my opinions on trading. Like, I am a counter, my opinion is if everybody is going this direction, then I probably should be wondering about it. It doesn't mean that I go the opposite direction automatically, but it means that I am concerned. Like, okay, everybody's going this way, maybe I should consider not doing that. So, anyway, let me, shoot, I just screwed myself up here on my display. Give me a second, everybody, to come back. Okay. I killed my trading station. Okay, good. Trading station back. All right. So, good. Trade's going okay. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Go ahead and shout out in the YouTube if you want to see something else. If you're, if you're watching this, it's better for me. It's hard to watch two displays at once. So if you're in the private group, I'll probably see your request sooner if you put it in YouTube. Okay. So, but yeah, I'm expecting just up to 53 right now. That's what I'm expecting on Bitcoin, just to make that clear. So what I would do as a trade is, if I were low time framing this thing, and I have algos that could allow me to do that, then I would look for like a slight pullback on a low time frame, and then go long on that. But if I don't see a pullback on the low time frame, and if the algos say whatever they need to say, then I might look for something like this, and then take it up to 53, something like that, right? And that would be nice. I'm kind of thinking it won't happen, but for those of you, like I said, those of you in the private group, what metrics I use on that kind of a move, right? How I trade this. What the formula is for something like this, right? So that's that, right? Something like this, maybe. Okay. And it is right now. I can almost no, let's not do that. I'm pretty confident that if it does reject here at 53, we're going to see a new range develop, and that range could either be something small like these prior little ranges here, or we could see price start to range between 48 and 53. That could happen, but that may not last. So I'm not, if it rejects at 53 and starts to head down, then there's actually a pretty good chance price will grab this liquidity, and there's a ton of liquidity down here at 43. So we'll see about it. It's hard. I think chances are price is just going to continue up. And as we talked about that in the video, in yesterday's video that I did, not the live video, but the actual video that I recorded and put on YouTube. I talk about where I think price is going to go. Okay, so Cool Cat wants to see total 3. This is a market cap. Okay, so we remember how we do this, Cool Cat. Total market cap. That's just going up. I don't, it's just bullish, man. It's just something like this is going to follow Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin is the king, and for foreseeable future will be. So I don't, on this, I would just be doing, I guess you can do like regular trading type stuff with this. I don't know. I'm not really big on doing charts for things that are not tradable, because they're not going to really behave, right? Like, you're going to get different behaviors from this. So for me to try to apply a fib extension, like, that might be spurious. You might end up with some bad data, but if this worked, which I don't know if it does, because this is not tradable. But if this kind of thing worked on this, then we'd be looking at 567 billion, and then 614 billion next. But let me ask you a question, Cool Cat. How is this useful? Can you trade it? Can you make money on it? Is looking at this doing anything for you? That would be the question that you need to ask yourself. In the meantime, I'm going to roll to Ethereum, which is something I can trade and do something with. Ethereum is pretty strong. Let's see. It looks like I was charting it yesterday. All right, let's go to the 3 hour. Okay, so yeah, Ethereum is I had targets at excuse me, at about what is this, 2740. That was my target yesterday. Another target would be at 20. I didn't take this trade, but I had a target there. So this trade, had I taken it, would have looked like, I mean, look at when I would have actually entered based on algos. Give me a second. I would have entered a little bit later than most people because I wait for algos to tell me that I can. It's better for my results to do that. So I would have taken, I didn't take this trade. I should have taken this trade. But my next target on Ethereum would be 2816. And I think that's pretty reasonable right now. I think that's like a reasonable target. Yeah. So that being the case, that's Ethereum. Let's move over to equities, and then we'll save like Solana, and I want to see later in the private show. We're gonna take a look at Link. We're gonna take a look at Solana. We're gonna take a look at Matic, and we're gonna take a look at some other stuff. So but I'm gonna save that for the private. If somebody does, Tech Solutions seems to think Ether looks like a short. Tech Solutions, what makes you say that? Because to me, it does not look like a short right now. Yeah, that's to me, and especially if you take a look at the algos, Ether, eventually it will be a short. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to know what you're seeing, because I am not seeing a short right now, at all. I think Ether will continue up to 2815, but Tech Solutions, if you want to tell on the 1 hour, okay. Well, the closest I've got for you is on the 30-minute, and no, I don't. And remember, I look at things a little differently. I'm looking at the algos, so and the 30 minutes not going to be that different to the 1 hour. Just so I can look at the 30 and see what you're seeing. It right now, what it's doing is it's like kind of a classic bull flag right now. Okay, so it is right above the target that I had on a fib extension, which was like 2742, right? And so it is pretty much consolidating now. Yes, I mean, it could short. I'm not seeing what you're seeing here. I'm gonna just do this really quick to see what you're talking about. The SMI is not negative, sir. Here's your SMI. That's not negative at all. It's flip positive. Now, it will pull back at some point, but at this very moment, I don't see it. And that's what you're seeing here. And the SMI being what it is. This is the reason price is staying in this area, even though you have certain indicators. It's like when it comes to stochastics and RSI and stuff like that, one of the things that'll happen is it will remain overbought for a while when things are strong in the higher time frame. So you're going to think that because, like, say the RSI, the stochastic RSI, whatever, if one of those is overbought, meaning that the oscillator is all the way in the overbought position, what you're probably not understanding is that that's on the hourly, but on the 4 hour and the daily and all that, it's all overbought, and it just continues upward. So what you're seeing is price continuing to push up, and the indicators are just not really, they're just saying they're overbought. It doesn't mean that it's going to reverse. And that's a classic mistake that people make on oscillators. Just because something's overbought doesn't mean that it's going to turn around. And right now it looks like it's going to break above. I can tell you right now, if it breaks above, if it breaks and closes on the hourly above 2756, so like let's just say 2760 to be safe. If it breaks and closes on the hourly above that, then it's probably just going to continue up. And this is a beautiful extension here. I mean, this is a beautiful breakout, just extremely strong. I would be looking at, I mean, it hasn't even come back to touch the 382 yet. So it's not to say it won't break down. It's just that right now it hasn't, and everything is all very bullish. So I mean, if it does pull back, it's probably not going to pull back very far. It's probably going to pull back to grab some of the liquidity from the prior consolidation, which could be anywhere from, say, here to here. So if there is a pullback, it could pull back to grab this, but I think like it's going to go up, and I think it's just going to go up like right now. That's what I see on there. So you gotta watch out. Look, here's the thing about indicators: they lag and they're imperfect. So the indicators, if you're going to use them, like, which obviously I do use them a lot, but price action is always going to trump indicators every time, because price action is to the minute, right? So, and again, that's just what I'm seeing, and that's why I use higher time frame stuff. But I see nothing but bullish right now, and I do think Ethereum is headed to about 28, maybe 15, 28, 17, something like that. So actually, if somebody like it, look, if you do your own research, and you like this trade, look, it just broke out now. Now it hasn't closed, but this is a nice trade right here. This is a nice trade, and you could even put your stop loss super tight up in there, because that's a breakout trade, and it literally just broke out right now. So that's doable, but do your own research. Like, you got to figure that out, right? But now look at it. It's broken out just as I said it would. And it broke out when I said it would break out, right? So there you go. Yeah, see, that's that. You gotta, the lower time frame indicators, all indicators lag, right? But those higher time frame indicators are going to give you the perspective. All right, good. So I think we're at the end of the show. The Gorilla is in. Gorilla, sir, how are you?
I am doing quite well, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Just in time for the for our private live lab, as you always are.
Yes, I am an Indian AI.
That. What does that even mean?
I don't even know. But if there was an Indian AI, he'll sound like this.
Yeah, so look, just so everybody understands, like, this free to the public live lab, this isn't part of Algo Factory's like paid. We just do this like out of the kindness of our heart. But what everybody is paying for is about to start, and that starts in a couple of minutes. We're going to go to our private live lab. We're going to show a lot more of our kind of secrets and methodology and stuff like that. So Gorilla, if you please could take us out of here, sir, and say anything else you have to say before you do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, guys, this is the only place in the world where you're not only going to learn how to trade, number one, you'll also learn how to build algorithms, number two. And number three, you'll understand how the world works, and you'll get the news, you'll get the intelligence reports right before it happens, weeks, months before the market does what it's supposed to do. We give it to you, and we give you the entire top-down play so that you won't be gay.
Hold on a minute. No, real quick, nothing to do with gay. When did you make this call? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum going up like it did. When did you make this call? Was it 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, exactly.
In the private group.
Yep.
So just so you understand, the way it works is like, I'm the technical guy, and V is extremely well connected. And if you've been watching these shows, you'll know why he is connected, who he's connected to. You won't know exactly who, but you'll have an idea. So the Gorilla has called this move weeks in advance, just so you understand that. Like, all of us knew this was coming weeks ago.
Yeah, and we all prepped for it. Yep. And we're all positioned for it. And when we were positioned, what happened? We profit. Positioning equals profit, folks. Positioning equals profit. And that's what you get over here. We're so ahead of the curve in what we're doing. Nobody else does what we're doing. You can go ahead and spend $300 a month, $500 a month. Go ahead.
Sorry, bro. I got to say it. So just so you all understand, we've said this before. It's not a secret, but we have some new people watching. Yeah. Via the Gorilla does multi-million-dollar Bitcoin deals on a regular basis around the world, has commandeered 4 or 5 of the largest dark pools in the game. So, has been a liquidity provider and solution for companies like Binance. So you have to understand, this is not like, we're not joking around here. The Gorilla knows people deals with people who are involved in some of the highest echelons in the game. So that's why we have some of the info that we do. So go ahead, V. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not going to get
new listeners to know.
Yeah, I want people to realize you're not going to get a better Bitcoin forecast from anywhere else in the world. I don't care what freaking, screw tube channel you're watching with some guy who's pretending to trade. No. Let me explain something to you. We're on the institutional side of things over here. Okay, so I'm not dealing with, a couple of retail investors, but about 0.305 of Bitcoin. No. Institutional side, when you're doing the amount of volume we're doing, supplying institutions weekly, you kind of know where things are and where things are going. So you hear things. It's very small at the top. Like when you look at a lot of the institutional liquidity providers and trade settlement desks, it's a small community, and we all know each other. Like when these guys are in town or I'm in their town, we have lunch. That's the kind of relationship I'm talking about here. So you're not gonna. So you could watch all the crap out there. You could watch. You could read all the coin telegraphs and Coinpedias and all this other coins that say, "Hey, 5 altcoins are going to go to the moon." No. Listen, this is the institutional side of it. We call it before it happens. We have the most accurate track record in the world. In the world, nobody comes close. Nobody. It's a ridiculous combination that we're putting together here for $1.66 per day, folks. $1.66 per day. You cannot say no. I know people that join just so they can hear the intel. We have people like that because it's valuable. Why? Position equals profit. Position equals power. Position equals progress. That's what I got to say, Cowboys. So scan that QR code, click the link in the description box, and we're about to go into the live.
We're about to. And usually I don't talk at this point. I let the gorilla do his thing. But just a reminder, we're going to be raising the price. So this $49.99, like we have only just started to market outside of our circle as of when did Dre do his thing? Just like 2 days ago, V?
Yeah. Yep.
So we only just started. So here's the thing. Like we have a benchmark as far as how many clients we have. And when that benchmark gets met, we're hiking the price up and we're considering $300 a month. That's what we're considering that price because that's what our competition charges and they get it. And we're far better than them.
Way better.
So understand that this $50 a month, this was like for the first year or so. It's based on benchmarks and how many clients we have. So we're doing this because people are trusting us early, getting in while we're new, things like that. And they will always have that $49.99 a month. Right. So even if we hike it up 300 or 200, whatever the number is, those of you who get in at $49.99 and don't let your membership lapse, you get to keep that price. Understand that. So if you're going to get in, you got to think about that when you do, because we will be hiking the price. It's going to happen. We just started. We have a large circle. We did a soft rollout. We did this so that we could kind of get the kinks out of the system ahead of time. And we're at that point where we're really getting close to that benchmark. So if you want to get in under $50, if you want to get in under $200 or $300, then now is the time. So go ahead, V. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. So join us. Look, you can't afford not to join us, man. Especially what's happening this year. We have this is an election cycle. God knows what the hell's going to happen. We have a lot going on. So join us. Let the Indian AI let us show you what to do, and we will make you profitable. All right, Cowboy.
That's because you can say that because you're like part Indian.
Yeah.
You are Indian.
I can get away with it.
You can get away with it. You got the blood.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I can say a lot of racial things and get away with it too. It's amazing.
Yeah, you definitely can. I'm like 2% African, so
I know you're a quarter black cowboy.
Yeah, pretty much, dude.
Quarter black cowboy. That's gonna be your new name, dude.
Quarter black cowboy, dude.
Yeah, instead of quarter black Garrett, it's gonna be quarter black cowboy.
Someone's gonna lose their shit over it, dude.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. You go point to your Sicilian roots, my man.
That's right. I'm killing the oh no, I need to start the other one first.
So let me explain to you. The Indian AI is taking over. All the cabs in New York City will be powered by Indian AI, as well as the 7-Elevens. You go to the slushy machines, it will, hello, can I take your order, please? And it will do the whole thing. It's amazing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
Does the Indian AI like bob its head side to side?
On the screen it does. It bobs its head side to side to say yes or no. It's yeah.
And I didn't know all these years that is how like they say yes over. Like
Yes.
in the West, we nod our head up and down, but over there they bob their head kind of like side to side. And people here don't know that. They just think that's like some weird Indian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's new to me. All right, cool. So it is open and live inside of the Telegram, the private room. So if you want to go in there, Jay and Be Good and Jay, thank you for those maps that you just threw in there. I'm going to end the stream, and we will see you. Not end the stream, but I'm going to end, YouTube and all this. So peace out.
Later, Cub Scouts.